Good evening, everyone. I call the meeting to order for the Ways and Means Committee meeting on March the 20th, Thursday, 2025. I am Councilwoman Ivy, and I have with me committee member Councilwoman Linda Barnes Cardwell. We'd like to welcome you all. At this time, today on the agenda, we have the following ordinance for discussion and consideration. CPO 2025-13. An ordinance of the City of Gary, Indiana, amending the city fee schedule ordinance number 9377 by increasing and establishing fees for the City of Gary departments. Sponsored by Eddie Melton, our mayor, City of Gary, Salita Green, our city controller. We would like for a brief summary of the ordinance, and we open the floor for discussion at this time. Hi, Vet.
Good evening, Council. How are you? For CPO 2025-13, I'll call up the respective departments. For Building Department, unfortunately, Mr. Flozell is not in due to the weather. With the storm and everything, he's still out working. So first I have up Environmental Affairs, Brenda. She's going to discuss her changes.
Good afternoon. I am Brenda Scott Henry, Director of the Department of Office of Sustainability and Environmental Affairs. And in the fee schedule ordinance on page 7, Environmental Affairs Department starts on page 6, but there are no changes there. We do have changes on page 7 at the top where we have the special use burn permit, the prescribed burn permit, the prescribed burn permit, the number I is a little typo, but it's the area spray permit, and then the ground treatment permit. So this is mostly our conservation folks who are doing vegetation management. The purpose of the increase is because we hired a certified arborist to help us with the review of each of these services. So the fee was $200, is $350 to cover the cost for professional services of having an arborist on board to review those permits. Yes. Yes, on page 6. Oh, 5. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Then 7. That's H, I, and J. Yes. Yeah,
Page 7.
7. Right at the top, under item number 8, and then it's H-I, it's a little typo there, we just need to fix that, and then J.
And that fee stayed the same?
No fees were increased due to us having not only an air quality review, but we have a certified arborist that reviews the vegetation management plan. And then reports out tracking. So what we require of the conservation individuals that utilize this permit is to submit the air quality permit, then they submit the vegetation management plan. We send that to our consultants to review, which is a certified arborist, and then we give that feedback to the permittee, and then we issue the permit.
And these fees, if this ordinance is approved, will be effective immediately?
effective approval of the ordinance. We may, because this year's already started, most of them have already started, got their permits for this year, so maybe later in the fall. But it's effective as of the approval of the ordinance, if approved. Yeah.
Okay. Is that it for yours?
That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and next for the bottom of page 7 for finance, I brought in our senior revenue accountant, Frida. She's going to go over our changes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The finance changes began on page 7. Well, the listing of the fees began on page 7. The changes themselves start on page, give me just a second here. On page 9. And the changes are the contractor's license, the fee changed from $120 to $150. And that was for the initial licensing. And then the renewal of the licensing changed from $70 to $100. And then the late fee, which was usually due January 1 of every year, changed to January 31st of each year. And it went from a sliding scale fee of $5 after February 1st or $15 after March 1st to a flat rate fee of $50, whether they're 1 day to a year late. The next item, item
And-
12,
Excuse me 1 second. What are the consequences if they don't pay the late fee?
what is the consequences if they don't pay the late fee?
Right.
The late fee would still be assessed when they,
So they just would not be able to move forward with the license renewal?
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And then item 12, the general business licensing. The only change there was the late fee. We did have that on by alphabetical order, but we changed it to, once again, the 1 day to a year late, a flat rate of $50. Then in item 14, for the inspection fees, they changed from $50 to $75. Okay, and then on page 10, we have the seasonal food permits. And those change from $150 for the permit fee to $250. And then item 25.
Hold on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me let you catch up.
Where are we again? I
We're
just flipped to
on-
page 10,
Okay, page 10.
item number
That was 24.
24. Okay.
For
I'm
the-
with you.
And
And
was
that fee was,
for the seasonal food permits. The permit fee was $150, and it's now $250, or proposed for $250.
okay.
And then item 25, for the temporary food permit, it was $50, and there would be an increase to $100. And then the final change was for the reprint of the W-2s. It was no fee, but it will be an increase to $5.
Yes, Councilman Williams.
Can we go back to the seasonal food permit?
Yes, sir.
You said that it went up to pretty much $100, correct?
Yeah.
All right, from $1.50 to, okay. That's for anyone who wants to do like a farmer's market or anything like that? So is that a annual fee? This is one annual fee?
That is the, the seasonal fee. And with it being seasonal, it is annual, but it's like you were saying with the food market, it could be like a summer market, but it would be for that $250.
So there's a church in my district that wants to meet, and we're gonna be discussing starting an annual farmer's market. So that's the fee that they'll have to start paying?
Yes.
It's not to exceed 6 months.
It's not to exceed that
Right,
amount?
it's not to exceed 6 months.
Okay.
Councilwoman, turn on your microphone, please.
I'd like to acknowledge that Councilman Williams has joined the Ways and Means Committee meeting.
Okay, next I have Fire Department, Mr. Morris.
Good evening, James Morris, Chief EMS, Gary Fire Department.
Good evening.
Fire Department, just a summary of our fees, some notable changes. 1, reports. Item B, fire investigation. It's going from 50 to 75. 1, item C, fire investigation with pictures. It's going from 150 to 175. Sorry, say that again. Which one? The last one? 150 to 175?
Okay, 150.
It's affirmative. $25 increase. We're
Page
on
10.
page 10, line H1C.
Looks like there's a change in A as well from 25 to 35. Do you have that?
Yes, I have 35. I wasn't aware that it was 25 in 2020.
Okay. Continue.
Okay, no changes in H2. No changes in H3. No changes in H4. And that's the summary for the fire department.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For Health Department, Veronica will come up and give her changes.
Good evening. Veronica Collins, the Executive Director of the Gary Health Department.
Good evening, Ms. Collins.
The changes that the Health Department has, we added, we're on page 12. We added 9 and 10 for STD and HIV residents. It's $10. For STD, HIV non-residents is $25. We added the TB non-resident for $15, number 12. We added as well the duplicate health cards for $15. We increased the number 15, inspection of temporary food businesses, that lasts for 2 weeks for $50, $30 to $50. We added 16, inspection of charter schools, $55 per inspection, $110 annually. We increased the septic tank inspection to $25 from $15. Paternity affidavit, $35. We increased that. The pregnancy test is free. And then we added the court order name change for $20.
Colleagues, any questions? Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell?
Ms. Collins, what type of inspection do you do for the schools?
For the food, the health inspectors go out for the cafeterias.
Okay, all right, I was just curious.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
For the charter schools. And also, we removed the maternal child health clinic. We no longer have that clinic anymore, so we removed that altogether.
Ms. Collins, no increase in the cost for a birth certificate?
No,
Yay!
it's only $15.
Okay.
I don't see a cost for immunizations.
Immunizations is free. We charge, if they have public insurance, it's free, but we bill the administrative fee if they have Medicaid. $20.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Park Departments. Ms. Dolly is going to go over their changes.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Good afternoon.
Ivy, and also our council persons that are here. I am Dorothea,
Pull your microphone down just a bit.
like that? Okay.
That's better.
I am Dorothea Dolly Harris, but they call me Dolly. And I'm representing the Parks Department for our director, Mattie Fitzgerald Williams. Under parking, number 4, we're lowering it from $3 an hour to $1.50. Correct. Because we're, to my knowledge, going mobile. Mobile parking app, cars, motorcycles only, it's $1.50 an hour, so we're striking $3. And there's the dollar convenience fee that stands per transaction. Annual parking fee, we're scratching out $100 to $75 for the Gary resident. We're striking out $300 for non-Gary residents. And everything else for the parking, I believe, stays the same.
Annual non-parking pass.
Say that again?
What's the new amount for the annual non-parking pass? I mean, annual parking pass?
There is none,
There's none
yes.
for Gary residents?
Gary, $75.
$75? So from $100 to $75, correct?
I'm going to have legal come.
Yeah, I see 100 and 300.
And she may be able to clarify it better than I can at this time.
Good evening. There's a section on the parking fee changes that we're hoping to institute. So I don't know if you want me to go over it now, or do you want me to go over it now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to get to it in my document here. Okay. What page is it on yours? 13?
13.
Let me just try to scroll to it. Okay, so, the city this year, wants to implement, instead of having people take cash for parking and all that, want to implement, a vendor and application called Park Mobile.
Okay.
And what it'll do is, kind of similar to some places in Chicago and other places where you park.
Right.
You know, and so it'll have, a QR code that you scan from your phone, and then you would pay for parking through that. It would impact the lots in Marquette and other like high-traffic areas like that. So what happens is instead of us taking cash, you pay the fees that we outline through your phone.
Right.
And if you don't have, you know, the capability to do that, there'll be a number you can call to take care of your parking fees. We're gonna have the parking attendants who used to take the money at the booth. We have other duties for them to do out there at Marquette, and so it'll be more efficient for the city. So I'm gonna go over the fees that are here. So, I don't know why I'm scrolling to the wrong thing. So the parking for Marquette and Lake Street is gonna be, you know, once approved, $3 per hour for, huh? Oh, so you all changed that to $150 an hour?
You guys did.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, well, the copy that I had that, so it's the per hour, 150, 20 per day, which equals 12 hours. Then in the app, I still have that it's $3 per hour with a $1 convenience fee for transactions. It's, okay, she has,
so it's a
I'm not sure how
$1,
we're operating on different.
it's a
apps.
$1 convenience fee to use the app for the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the annual pass for Gary residents is $100. Okay, somebody reduces that. I'm sorry, I'm working off what's to be turned in, but we'll get
Well,
this.
we're just trying to figure out why parking was decreased, that's all.
Yeah.
Because it's not making any sense. I understand everything else increased, fees for businesses, fees for citizens, you know, getting permits and everything, and, you know, this is where we make our money in the summer, parking at Marquette and all that. We don't charge a whole lot of other stuff out there, so why are we?
So,
And I love the idea of the mobile app, I really do. I think that's great.
so Councilwoman, the version that I truly believed was the version that we had turned in has $3 per hour, and then it has $100 for Gary residents for the whole season, and then $300 for non-residents for the season, and then the this is, I do apologize for the confusion, but we're gonna get it straight. So, yeah, so what you just gave me matches what I'm looking at on my screen. So I'll go over that. And perhaps if you think they should be higher, we're not gonna argue with you on that. So the trailer recreational parking, so if you have a RV or something that's gonna take up multiple parking spaces, that's $10 for an hourly rate for that. Then commercial bus parking, I'm sorry, the Gary resident, like RV parking, is $10 per hour. The non-resident is $12 per hour. And then commercial bus parking is $150 a day. You know, if you got a tour bus or something, you wanna park it at Marquette, it'd be $150 a day. Now, what is the pleasure of the council? Do you want to go with the ones that I just read off, or how do you want to alter this?
I think if you just, you know where the errors are. I guess they're just,
They're $8
Yeah.
a day and $10 for non-residents as it stands now. However, from the director, that's what she gave me as the new direction for $150 an hour and just $75 for an annual parking pass for residents of Gary.
So we're going back to page 13.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
You all
Barnes
had a
Caldwell.
reason for the changes. We would just like to know so it could make sense, because right now. Can we come back to this?
You sure can. There's one other thing I need to inform you of. In order to enable all this, we have to update our parking meter ordinance. And so that's coming. We're gonna present it, I hope before your next meeting. And then I also spoke with Councilwoman Ivy. We have a graffiti ordinance.
Okay.
So we're coming, so we can step up our enforcement of the graffiti.
I'm sorry, attorney, can you bring the mic up to your face?
Yeah, we're gonna present an ordinance to update the parking meter ordinance, which is, undergirds all of these parking fees. And we have a graffiti ordinance to help us deal more specifically with the graffiti and vandalism that we suffer from. The fees are gonna be higher, punishment's gonna be higher. And I hope to present that to you so it'll be on the agenda for the next meeting.
That sounds great.
So it's all connected to what's in here. We're also gonna have, we haven't gotten to the film permit things in this ordinance yet, but we're gonna add violations where if, somebody
Right.
comes and just ignores our permit requirements, then there'll be penalties for doing that.
Who put the mobile app together for us?
So, Michael Suggs has worked real hard
Yeah.
on working with the Park Mobile Company and setting fees and getting that all worked out. He's also been working with the Controller's Office to make sure everything is gonna flow right with that.
I'm really excited for that.
Okay.
I really am, yeah.
All right, that's
Thank you.
good to hear, and we'll let him know.
There's also under number 5, picnic shelters, there is number 3, which is $100. Number 2 and 4 are $80. So that needs to be corrected, because that's what we've been doing for as long as I can remember at Marquette.
So, I'm sorry, repeat that, Ms. Dolly. You said picnic shelters.
at Marquette. Number 3 is $100. Number 2 and 4 are $80. Number 3 is
2
the
and
larger.
Excuse me,
What
Ms.
letter
Shelton.
we at?
So we're at 7?
No, you only, we're at 5.
We're at
Where they
5,
have picnic shelters under grass and playground.
So, Ms. Dolly, we just
you
have
said Marquette.
one.
Yeah, we just got Tolleson, all of the
That's-
pools.
Yeah, what-
That's
pic-
cool. So
yeah.
under 5, picnic shelters,
Dolly,
grass
what
and
page you reading
playground is
from?
just one.
Page 14.
Page 14 is just one
Yeah. And that's,
daily rate.
yeah, that's why I'm making the correction for Marquette. This would be except Marquette.
So Marquette is under 7. Should we follow you under item number 7 for Marquette
Because
Park?
Marquette isn't listed under
Right.
5.
It's not, but
No.
it should be so that there's no confusion as far as picnic shelters are concerned.
Yes.
Okay. The only change on number 7, number C, is the formal lounge. We're going from, is that my seat? We want it to be 500 from Sunday through Thursday and 650 Friday through Saturday. That would enable us to compete and also be in line with other venues in the area.
Now, what's the time? Is that a 4-hour
It's
window
usually,
or?
I believe it's a 4-hour, but usually it's a 5-hour event time.
Now, the former lounge, that's on the first floor, right?
Yes, that's down, down the
The
stairs.
lower level?
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Downstairs, okay.
Right now, the Board of Commissioners for the Parks Department have okayed that, but now we need to make it formal.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Can we
Councilwoman
go
Barnes
back
Caldwell.
to 6, pools? Do we have any pools?
No, we do not to my knowledge.
Okay. No pools.
However, part of the Tolleson project with the Boys and Girls Club and also, I believe, Methodist Hospital, they were planning to put a pool in. So I think that's why those fees are staying for now.
Okay.
So will we be responsible for that?
That I can't answer. I will have to defer that to the director.
Okay.
Okay, are we now continuing to page 15? Are there any other changes for Marquette?
The only one you might want to put is the picnic shelters, so that that is clear. And that would be number 3, which is the largest shelter, and that is $100 presently. Shelter number 2 and 4 are smaller, and they're at $80.
And that's,
On what page?
Is that page 15
Page 15,
at the top or in the midsection? We're looking
I
at?
would put it probably
Under
right above
pavilion.
picnic, pavilion picnic area.
Okay.
and can you repeat that again, please?
That's letter F, correct?
Right. A, B, C, D, E, F.
So above
Right.
F,
Above F,
we are putting,
Marquette Park shelters. Number 3 is the largest shelter we have, that is $100.
$100.
Shelter number 2 and 4 are $80 presently. So to be in line, that would make sense to put it in there.
So we're keeping them at $80?
Yes, I would keep the $80 for 2 and 4, and the $100 for number 3.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm looking at pavilion rentals on page 16.
right.
I don't see Roosevelt, oh, I guess all other pavilions. Okay, so
Correct.
we have a special price for Ambridge. Are we using Ambridge now?
That I would have to refer to the director. I believe it is under renovation also.
Okay, what about Brunswick?
Brunswick also has some issues that they need to complete.
Okay,
What about
so
how,
all others are, can you give me a list of all others? Roosevelt,
There's Ambridge, Talisman, Brunswick, and there is also Roosevelt. There's also,
how Park?
Hal?
yes, Howe Park. And then also you have,
Are we using Reed?
that is, still has to be reevaluated, and I'll refer that back to our director.
So,
Is the Brunswick Pavilion complete?
That I don't know. I have to refer that back to our director.
So for the use of any of those pavilions, the cost is gonna be $225.
Tolliston is at $400 or $35 an hour. Ambridge looks like $350, $35 an hour. Brunswick looks like $225 and $35 an hour. All other pavilions look like $225. They are on a smaller scale than Tolliston, Brunswick, or Ambridge.
Right.
so what's the hours?
The
Or that-
hours depends on the type of the fair or event, but generally speaking, there's no more than 5 hours. You know, there's 1 hour to set up and 1 hour to clean up.
4-hour event?
Correct.
Okay.
So if I rented, say, Howell Park on a weekend, can I get it on a Sunday?
Can you what now?
The days for availability. Is it Monday through Sunday or Monday through Friday? Or it's Monday through Saturday?
It's probably Monday through Sunday or Sunday through
Sunday
Saturday.
through Saturday? Okay.
You would
So-
call the main office and talk to Angela Peasant.
Okay.
She's our rental specialist.
And then when I'm done with my event, who comes to secure the building?
That would be the park manager, which is Don Plough.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Can you, when you get back with Ms. Williams, can you give us a list of the pavilions that are active, that are actually available?
Yes, I will
And
do.
also the days of the week available for rental, just to confirm if it is Sunday through Saturday.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Colleagues, any other questions?
Hudson and Campbell is under you also?
Not that I'm ready for that one. I was not ready for that one. That would be our director, and she might be able to answer. What did you want to?
No, it was still a part of
It's
your
part of
pages.
park, yeah,
So
it's-
I need to know where you're stopping at.
Right, I'm stopping at Marquette Park Pavilion. I'm just the
You're
executive manager.
stopping at 8, the pavilion rentals?
Yes.
While I still have you, I see here repast dinner for all pavilions, $125. Do you have, what the amount was?
That's still the same. That has not changed.
Okay.
So we'll still do repasses for this
Correct.
cost, okay? So, Ms. Fitzgerald Williams will come back and talk to us before
Correct.
about,
Some of your questions.
okay.
All right, thank you.
And final, we have the police. Officer Evans will go over their changes.
I'm sorry. Before Chief gets, one quick question. You said Don would be the person who will come, that'll secure the building and everything. So if someone rented a shelter and the barbecue grill that's been built, newly built, that comes on with it, what's the fee for someone that uses the outer grounds in case they don't clean up after themselves?
That's a good question. Right now, I do not know for that, but usually what happens, our grounds crew will come and clean up. If it's on Marquette's property, we have our maintenance people that will check after. We also post who rented the facility, so and they have to have their permit with them. So there's no arguments between who has not.
And last question. How do we secure our parks to stop people from just coming onto the grounds and having a good day without notifying us that they're coming?
Well, most of the time, if the grounds are not occupied, then it is allowed. However, we prefer you to get a permit, especially if you have a large number of people.
I'm talking about non-permit individuals. Sometimes people just say, it's a park, I'm going over there, that's what I'm doing my activity.
There are other places in the park, in Marquette Park, where it is open, and that portion is free to the public.
Okay,
There's the hill part, there's picnic tables outside of the entrance that comes to Marquette Pavilion. So to my knowledge, those are open areas. Now, Area 5, which is where there is an outdoor pavilion, that has to be rented.
okay. So what about our local parks, like, as she said, Reed Park and Hall Park? How do we stop individuals from coming onto those grounds?
That I will have to refer back to our director. I cannot answer that.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
Thank you.
Chief Evans will come and review police changes, police department changes.
Good evening. Glad to be here. I want to talk about the fees that the
Good
police.
evening.
Thank
How are you?
I'm doing well. Talk about some of the fees the police department has and some new fees. So we'll go over the ones that we've had on here for a while, and I'll explain each one in succession. The first one is our false alarm fees, which is $50 that will be assessed in the citation after 3 visits by law enforcement in a month, meaning that if we go to your home 3 times and you have a false alarm, then we will issue you a citation for $50. It's not something that we do often, but it's something that's necessary so officers won't get complacent with the false alarm. Some alarms we check all the time, and we want to assess that fee. We did look at our local agencies, and their alarms fees are much more, but they have hotels and commercial properties that they do this with. So this may be revisited at another time.
What page you? What page?
We are, Councilman
Agency.
Williams, bottom of page 17.
17. Our second one, which is a new fee for us, is law enforcement recordings, which is $150 per recording. The Bulgaria Police Department now has body cams and in-car cameras, and we're getting requests to give that footage for people that want it for whatever purposes, and through the Freedom of Information Act, we must do this. However, there's a lot of work that goes into us giving that film. For example, If we have two officers that are on the scene and the entire incident is 15 minutes, they have 2 body cams and 2 car videos. That's 1 hour of video that someone has to watch 3 times. We have to watch it first time to make sure what we're looking at, the second time to do redactions for children, personal information, everything else, and the third time to check it. So a simple 15-minute video with 2 officers and 2 cars will require 3 hours worth of work. That's why we're asking for the state IC code mandated $150 per camera. What we're doing now is not charging anything for them, and people get it. We don't have a fee ordinance for it. But we also want to include in that video from our jail as well as our building. If someone requests a video from our jail or our building, our car or a body cam, we will like $150 per fee because it takes a lot of work to watch it, redact it, edit it, and then get it to the person. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. The next thing that we're going to talk about.
I do have one.
Yes, ma'am.
Just the revenue from the recordings, would that be used to, when it's time to renew the software or buy a new body cam?
No, the body cams and the in-car videos were bought with a grant. Those fees will go to our training budget so that officers can be trained or that we can buy training equipment. Our training budget is used for officers to do all sorts of training. It's also used for when we invite peer professionals into our building to do training for our officers. Oftentimes, that can be several $1,000s, but a lot of times we offset that by inviting other agencies to come in and train with us.
Okay, and there will be a record kept of how many of those fees are collected?
Absolutely. We do fee schedules or receipts for everything we collect, which includes our toll fees, our reports, and our accidents. Our accident fees, we're part of iCrash.gov. A lot of people can buy their crashes online through the same services everybody uses in Indiana, and we do get a listing of that every month of what the amount was they sent to the city. I think they go straight to finance. I'm not sure.
Okay. We can continue to page 18, I believe, colleagues. Yes, page 18 under reports.
So accident reports and offense reports are mandated by the state. That's $15. Background checks, $15. Fingerprinting, $15. VIN checks, $5, mandated by the state. The vehicle tow release is $50. That was mandated by our last tow ordinance. The franchise fee also in there was mandated by our last tow ordinance, which is $40. Semi-tractor trailer tow releases and semi-tractor trailer franchise fee is $100. That fee is more because semi-tractor trailers are larger, they take more to tow, they're much bigger, and the towing fee itself is more.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Colleagues, any other questions?
I have a question.
That's it?
So with the towing release fee, that's paid once the individual gets to the yard, correct?
No, the towing fee is paid to us at the police station. That's the fee for them to get the tow release.
Okay.
The fee for the tow is at the tow company. They pay that, and the tow company gives the city the $40 franchise fee.
Okay. All right. I'm good.
All right?
Thank you.
All right.
That was the last changes that we have for the fee ordinance schedule.
Yeah, I was just about to say planning department.
Yes. Yes, yes.
What's going on with our youth service bureau?
Youth Services Bureau, I don't believe I have any changes for the
Okay.
Youth Services Bureau. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it. Zoning, nobody from zoning. Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from my colleagues present? Councilman Williams, Councilwoman Barnes Cardwell? Any other questions or comments? No? No further comments. We will proceed with the next steps regarding this ordinance. This ordinance will be at our April 1st council meeting. And that concludes today's agenda. Thank you all for your participation. This meeting is now adjourned.